All right, so the second chart that you need to make, or plot I should say, is a velocity, okay, in the y versus time. Okay. So our time values are going to be generated just like we did for the other graph. But for our velocity, we're going to be dealing with the v final in the y is equal to v initial in the y plus ayt. So it works out for us that this value is negative 9.8 meters per second squared, gravity. And then in the y direction, because it was a horizontal launch, this is 0. So our function kind of looks like this. We're basically just plotting v final y will be equal to negative 9.8 meters per second squared times t. So mathematically to the computer, when we plug it in, it will be 9.8 negative times, it will actually be our A2 when we plug it in on the computer, because this will be our time column, or our time data, which again, we're just generating that time data for the entire fall. All right, so now to create our velocity time calculated plot, we're going to start off by first putting in our time column, and then we're going to have a velocity in the y. So the time is going to start at 0 and go 0.01 increments again. And again, we're just going to go down to the 0.5. So 0.5 is where we kind of figure, or 0.55 I should say, is kind of where we need to be. And our function we said was going to be equal to just negative 9.8 times our time, our A2 value in this case. So if I hit enter, our initial velocity is 0. And if I grab it and pull down, for that little square there, all the way down, by the time I'm at 0.55 seconds, I'm traveling at negative 5.39 meters per second in the y direction. Okay, so now this time, my plot is going to be time and velocity. So I click on the time column, hold Command or Control if you're on a PC, click on the velocity column, and then I go into my Insert Chart. Again, it tries to make some sort of weird chart. It's going to do a column this time. We don't want column though, we want scatter. So we do our scatter, and if you look, it makes this nice kind of downward line, right? So we're going to customize that. Start off with the kind of chart title first. So our chart title is going to be calculated velocity in the y direction with time. Okay. Again, subtitle should be our name. So in my case, it's Mr. Magno. And axis title. So the horizontal in this case is time, and our unit is going to be in seconds. Okay. Our vertical is going to be velocity, and that's going to be in meters per second. Okay, that's what we're going to title that. So we go now to series. Again, no error bars, but I am going to make the dots a little smaller so they're easier to see. Trend line. This time it is linear, which is kind of good. You can kind of see that. I do want to use the equation, and if I show the R value, you can again see the R value is 1. Put my legend below once again, put it on the bottom. So you can see it's a negative 9.8 kind of slope that's got to that line. Horizontal axis looks to be okay for the most part. I might go out though as far as 0.6. Oh, 0.6. For the maximum value, just so you kind of see where it's trending to. So you see that would keep going dot, 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 dot after what I've calculated it to. Nothing really to change with the vertical, other than to for sure make sure the minimum is, actually not the minimum, sorry, the maximum is at 0, because I don't want to see above that, and I don't want the bounds hiding data. So that looks okay. Kind of close that up. Expand it just a little bit here. Looks pretty good. And then again, I could just copy this in, put it whatever document I happen to need it in, and that's how it goes.